In this video, we're going over one of the most affordable suburbs of Jacksonville, North Carolina. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into Living in Jacksonville. If it's your first time here, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and that notification bell so that you're notified every single time that I drop a new video. And as much as I love making these videos for you guys, I would love even more to help you with your real estate needs. So that phone number and email address popping up on your screen right now, that is the best way to get in touch with me. Give me a call, text message, or an email. I am the guy that responds to all the calls, texts, and emails. I would love to have a conversation and see how we can tackle your goals together. But without further ado, guys, today we're talking about Richlands, North Carolina, which is one of Jacksonville's most affordable suburbs. It also happens to be one of my favorite suburbs of Jacksonville simply because of how rural Richlands is. Richlands is an up-and-coming town. There's been a lot of development over the last couple of years, but Richlands is northwest of Jacksonville, the city of Jacksonville, but it's only about a 10 to 15 minute drive into Jacksonville, depending on where you're coming from, of course. If you're out near the airport in Richlands, it is going to be a little bit longer into Jacksonville, but generally speaking, 10 to 15 minutes to get to anything that you need to get to within the city limits of Jacksonville. But with that said, Richlands does have its own shopping. It has its own grocery stores and restaurants and little shops and things like that that you can go and explore. It is not a walkable town by any stretch of the imagination, but you're going to drive there, you're going to go to the Walmart, the Piggly Wiggly, do your shopping and go to your restaurants. There's not many options, to be honest with you, but they're there. So it is fully functional, place to live. And not only is it close to pretty much all of your amenities that you need on a daily basis, but it is close to Camp Lejeune and MCAS New River if you're stationed at one of those bases. And so back in 2014, 15, 16, 17, I did live in Richlands. I lived out near the airport where it's a little bit more rural. It's a little bit further away from work. If you're working on base, I was in the military at the time. So I personally wanted to feel like I was out of work and out from under the flagpole, if you will. And so, Richlands is a great place to have that space and feel like you're off of work if you're in the military. And with that said, if you are into, homesteading, right, like having chickens and goats and things like that, Richlands does have many areas that those animals, that livestock is allowed within your neighborhood or just wherever you live. There's all of these little micro farms that people have within Richlands, and you don't need acres upon acres to actually have livestock. So if you're into homesteading, if you're into like homeschooling and that kind of thing, Richlands is another fantastic place. I know I've mentioned Hampstead in the past for those activities, for that kind of thing, but Richlands is a fantastic place for it as well. In fact, one of the neighborhoods that I'm going to discuss today, you will actually see some goats and chickens in the front yard of one of the houses. And it is in a neighborhood. So that's something a little bit different about Richlands that you won't see in like the city of Jacksonville or even out in like Sneads Ferry or Holly Ridge, Surf City area. And so because of how rural Richlands is, you don't have that many main highways going through the area. You do have 258 that runs through Richlands and eventually turns into Highway 24. But otherwise, there's not many main highways. So it's a lot of back road country driving to get to where you want to go, depending on where you live. But generally speaking, you're really not on those roads very long to get to the highway. And they're just roads, right? So it's not that big of a deal. But if you are that person that wants to live near a major highway, there's a couple of these neighborhoods I'm going to discuss today that are right off of 258. But generally speaking, the majority of housing in Richlands are not, on 258 or Highway 24. So you will be taking some back roads to get onto the main highway to shoot up to base or to go wherever you want to go. All right, and moving into some of the neighborhoods that we're discussing today, I chose these neighborhoods specifically because they represent, in my opinion, what Richlands is all about. It's a little bit more spacious. It's a little bit more rural, right? You actually have, decent sized yards in these areas. So, and when you guys call me, a lot of you are looking for those bigger size lots, close to an acre size lot. There's a lot of places that you're not going to get that. If you're coastal, you're not gonna get those acre size lots. But Richlands is one of those areas that you can get those acre size lots or pretty damn close to it. And so the first neighborhood that we're going to discuss today is up and coming neighborhood, newly built neighborhood of Waverly Place. As you'll see in the drone footage, there's tons of construction going on. This neighborhood is still in the process of being built. There's still pre-sale going on. So if you're interested in any of these homes, you can still purchase and have the time to go and select your cabinets and countertops and things like that. But in this neighborhood, we're looking in the high 200,000s to get started with these builds. There's a couple ranches in the middle rows of this neighborhood, and then you have these big colonials on the exterior streets of this neighborhood that are over 2,000 square feet, 2,200 square feet and bigger. And this neighborhood is being built out by Adams Homes, which does a really good job of using 2x6 construction. You don't see 2x6 construction a lot down south simply because we don't need that much insulation. You see it up north with the cold winters and stuff all the time because you need that insulation. But here it's used primarily, for sound dampening, to make sure the home is perfectly sealed. And it's just, in my opinion, a better built home. So Waverly Place uses that construction. Adams Homes is a phenomenal builder in the area, and they did a really good job of keeping the majority of these homes, at least on the outer streets of the neighborhood, pretty private, backing up to trees, right? So you'll have your fence, you'll have your backyard, and on the backside, you're going to have those trees. So you don't have people necessarily looking into the back of your house. So there's a lot of privacy here. But guys, just for reference as to how affordable this neighborhood actually is, one of the homes that was built just went pending not too long ago. It's 2,900 square feet. It's a 5-bed, 4-bath home that just sold for $397,000. I don't know any other area in coastal North Carolina that you can get a 2,900 square foot home, 5-bed, 4 bathrooms for $397,000. And with that said, we do have to take it with a grain of salt because they could go in and do some aftermarket cabinetry, upgrade on the countertops and the floors and stuff. But regardless, to get the builder grade home for $397,000 is absolutely unheard of. So that is a great value in this area, being 35-40 minutes from the coast, from the beach, and you're 30 minutes to the bases. And right outside of Waverly Place, it's about a 1.5 to 2 minute drive, is the Walmart, the Piggly Wiggly, pretty much all of the shopping that you're going to need, as well as some restaurants right out on the strip as well. So Waverly Place is just a phenomenal neighborhood that you should check out. All right, moving on to the next neighborhood, we're talking about Orchard Creek. Orchard Creek is another up-and-coming neighborhood. It is further out in the sticks, the quote-unquote sticks of Richlands. It's a beautiful, brand new neighborhood that is, currently being built. There's not many homes being built. There's one cul-de-sac that is currently built, but the rest are pre-sale. The rest are to be built. So you're looking from the high 200s once again. And generally speaking, you're looking about a half acre up You can buy multiple lots if you want to, but there are 2 other cul-de-sacs within the neighborhood that can be built and bought on. Now, the backside of this neighborhood is a bunch of trees, some woods, as well as fields. So in the near future, there's not going to be a lot of, housing tracts going in. Even though Richlands is being developed pretty quickly right now, there's still a lot of farmland and that kind of thing that will prevent, a lot of these developments from being built. So this is one of those neighborhoods that on the backside of it, there's fields, there's farms, things like that. So for the foreseeable future, there will not be any built. So trees and fields are going to be the backyards. But with that said, once again, the lots are bigger in this area. You're talking about a ½ acre plus. And right now there is a home on the market. It's about 2,200 square feet, 3-bed, 2-bath, for $319. And yes, it's not a brand new construction. I mean, it's new as of like 2 years. But and it's been lived in, but still it's practically a brand new house, 2,200 square feet, going for $320. And they're giving buyer incentives. So they're giving $5,000 to a buyer to use as you choose. So you could use that as a 2-to-1 buy down if you wanted to decrease your rate, or just put it toward your closing costs, or whatever you want to use it for. The seller is giving that to you. So really, they're not getting $320, they're getting $315. But once again, Orchard Creek is a phenomenal neighborhood, lots of privacy, and not too many houses that are going to be in the neighborhood. So, it is just one of those rural pop-up neighborhoods, with beautiful houses, and it's extremely affordable. And it's only about a 5-minute drive to get onto 258. So, going to your grocery stores and that kind of thing are not going to take very much time at all. Maybe about, 10 minutes or so to get to Walmart or Piggly Wiggly. And then it's about 20 to 25 minutes into the city of Jacksonville if you needed to go there for whatever reason. All right, and the next neighborhood that we're going to look at is the Bryant Place. This is a really nice rural neighborhood. It is a little bit older construction in this neighborhood. The houses were built in the mid-2000s, but this is the neighborhood I was telling you about that allows chickens and goats and that kind of thing. And there's a house in the backside of the neighborhood that actually does have chickens and goats. And what I will say about this neighborhood, just to caution you, I don't know if it was, just a bad day or if it's always like this. But when I was there, flying my drone and getting the shots of the neighborhood stank. It stank like a farm. And I'm used to it, growing up in upstate New York, that's fresh air to me. But there's a lot of people that will complain about that. So if you don't like that kind of thing, this area in particular, I don't know, on this day in particular, it was pretty bad. But the values in these homes are bar none. You're looking at real estate for under $250,000. Some of them are over $250,000. But you're looking at about 1,300 square feet for some of these ranches. There's 2 on the market right now in the neighborhood. One is $235 and the other one is $245. So I just wanted to throw this neighborhood in there because, there's not, unless you're in city limits of Jacksonville, there's just not a lot of real estate out there for under $250,000. In some of these nice developments. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to reach out to that phone number and email address on the screen. You could call, text, email. I am the one that responds to those. And I would love to take a look at some of these houses with you. And then further back in this neighborhood, there are a couple lots that are still for sale that you could purchase and build a brand new home in, if this is the area that you want to be in. But this neighborhood is right off Haw Branch Road. It's close to Gregory Fork Road if you needed to get down to 258. But the end of the road comes out to Highway 24. So whether you wanted to go into Bouleville or go into Jacksonville, you can get there pretty easily from this neighborhood just going down that stretch. And then the next neighborhood that we're going to discuss is Buckhaven. Buckhaven's a little bit more of an established neighborhood. Very, very nice houses. The neighborhood does have a community pool, but these homes range from about 1,500 square feet up to about 2,700 square feet. They all have relatively large lots. This is one of those neighborhoods, like you're over a half acre, which you would be really surprised. Just driving through the neighborhood, you'd be shocked that the lots are this big. But the majority of the lots are fenced in, and everything feels very private, even though it's right off 258, next to just about everything that you need to get to in Richlands. And there is one house under contract pending currently that was on the market for $299,900. As soon as it was put on the market, it was under contract. So I assume it's either at asking price or a little above asking price. But it's a 3-bed, 2.5 bath, a little over 1,700 square feet. Beautiful, beautiful house with about a half-acre lot. And so this is one of those neighborhoods that a lot of people look for in the area because of how established it is, the houses and what they offer, as well as the proximity to the main highway to go to the stores and to get into Jacksonville or to get to work. And the other thing I wanted to mention with Richlands is regard to the taxes. So Richlands town tax is 38 cents per $100 of value, and Onslow County is 65 cents per $100 of value. So if you're within the town limits and you get hit with that tax, you're going to be at $1.03 per $100 of value on the home that you buy, which by my estimation, where the majority of you guys are coming from, you're going to be saving a hell of a lot of money living in Richlands, or just in North Carolina in general, but in Richlands in particular, if you have those town taxes. If you don't, then you benefit from just the county taxes of 65 cents per 100, and you're saving much more money at that point. And there are a lot of areas in Richlands that you do get to benefit from just those county taxes. So, if you're interested in any of that, reach out and I can get you situated in some of the areas that don't have those town taxes. And with all that said, guys, I hope you found value in this video. If you did, be sure to give me a like and a subscribe, and also hit that notification bell so that you're notified every single time that I drop a new video. But until the next video, guys, peace. Hope you have a good one. Bye.